In a three-page pastoral statement released Thursday addressing the abortion ruling, the Mexican Episcopal Conference quoted Pope Francis, who warned of those who deny protection to the unborn, the most defenseless and vulnerable, to do with them what they want, take their lives, and pass laws so no one can stop them. The statement from the conference explained the limited impact of the decision, decried violence against women and inequality, and defended the infinite value of new human life, saying it normalizes throwaway culture and removes the responsibility of those in power and of society in general of the care and protection of human life. In the same way, legalizing abortion distorts the concepts and practice of human rights and undermines the common good. Marcial Padilla, the director of Con Participación, a pro-life and pro-family nonprofit in Mexico, is here to weigh in on these developments. Marcial, thank you so much for being here. Let's go back to the beginning. When did the pro-abortion movement in Mexico really pick up momentum, and where does the financial support for them come from?
Yeah, I like to call those movements anti-life more than pro-abortion because they go against life in general. Those groups have their roots in the era of sexual revolution, but their specific work to impose abortion in Mexico began in the 90s. It is important to mention that they have modified their strategies because they believed that millions of women were going to support them, and it didn't happen. Actually, in reality, people were not so founded to legalize abortion. So they are trying to impose abortion through lawsuits against the government through the Supreme Court of Mexico, precisely because there is no popular support to do it through Congress or a referendum. In this space, I could mention 4 of these organizations. The first one is a Group for Chosen Reproduction, or GIRE in Spanish. It was founded in 1992, and which is the abortion organization that is filing lawsuits against the government to legalize abortion. There is also IPAS, an international organization with a subsidiary in Mexico. The current president of the National Women's Institute was the director of IPAS Mexico. Another organization is MEXFAM, a subsidiary of Planned Parenthood in Mexico. Planned Parenthood financial reports say that they have sent hundreds of thousands of dollars to promote abortion through MEXFAM. Another organization is Fondo Semillas, which receive private money from the United States. With these funds, they have distributed chemical abortion drugs in Mexico near the border with California. And there's since then, these organizations have had funding from abroad to promote the legalization of abortion, and they have modified their strategies, as I have mentioned.
Right, and many pro-abortion groups in Latin America say that this is a solution to femicide, to domestic abuse, and to years of cultural machismo. And the Mexican bishops in their statement opposing the decision also decried the systemic violence against women as deplorable and affirming it should be excluded from Mexican culture to create norms and laws that are truly just. What is the pro-life response to this? It's not abortion.
Well, of course not. It is a false dilemma to contrast mother and son, as if they were enemies. In reality, the dignity of the woman and the child is equal, and the love for both is the only way that as individuals, as family, and as society, we should go through. The only fair and reasonable thing to do is equally love, respect, and protect both pregnant women and their unborn child. In Mexico, of course, there are really big problems related to respect for women. These problems have to be resolved with the logic of life. It is unacceptable, totally unacceptable, to use the violence of abortion to try to solve the violence of machismo, the violence of murder of women, or the violence in home, domestic violence. The pro-life answer is an answer that changes everything by changing one word. Instead of using the word or, let's use the word and. Let's not think either the woman or the life of the children, but think the women and the life of the children both have to be respected and protected.
Now, Marcial, EWTN News has covered pro-abortion movements in Latin America before, like the Green Scarf movement that comes from Argentina and has headquarters on the U.S.-Mexico border. Why should Catholics outside of Mexico care about this decision?
Well, it is important because if we see that something is happening in another Latin American country, eventually it's going to happen in yours too. Actually, as we speak, we are seeing more or less the same process in Ecuador, where the current government and some pro-anti-life and pro-abortion organizations in Ecuador are suing the government the same way they are doing this in Mexico, and they are trying to do so in their own countries. We need to protect both lives of the women and the children using the new strategies and achieving the result that both in the law but also in society, there is not popular support enough to make these laws to really hold on the social heart of the people. Besides that, Mexico is always has always been seen as an experimental place for many of these cultural transformations. And I don't know if this counts too, but in Mexico we have Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Yes.
And maybe there's a specific, goal to use Mexico as this place where Our Lady has shown so much love to disrespect and despise life. I don't know why.
No, that's true. That's true. Our Lady plays an important role, and it's important to rely on her in these moments of crisis. Well, thank you so much for your work, Marcial. We really hope to have you back.
Sure.